What's up, guys? Welcome back to Biopilot Arms. This is part 2 of SWAT Season 1, Losing Immersion. We are going to just jump right in. If you have not seen part 1, it will be right somewhere, little card, somewhere right up here, hopefully. Anyway, guys, check that video out if you haven't seen part 1, and then come back for here for part 2. If you've already seen it, let's jump right in. That is 100% because he used a flathead screwdriver on a Phillips head screw. Guys, if you don't want this to happen to you, use the correct tools to build your bombs, please.
Hey, I'm Hondo. What's your name?
Maya.
Based on the size of that guy's apartment in the intro before it blew up because he used the wrong tools to build his bombs, it looked like his apartment was this entire top floor. Am I wrong, or was it just like half of it? Because I feel like it was the full top floor. And even if it wasn't, there's no way more than like 2 of these apartments are on this top floor. And if that's the case, based on the way that that explosion happened, she would be freaking dead. First of all. Second of all, how did she end up all the way out in the middle of the intersection underneath a sign? The logic does not logic.
Booby trap. The place is going to go up, along with any evidence.
Stand by. Hold on. Might be able to put the fire out.
What? Look, I understand that the kid that built this is supposed to be like a rudimentary bomb maker or something, but why was the fuse so long? And why did the fuse start a fire instead of blow up another, like, a thing of C4? Like, this guy's using C4 for like everything, but except for his booby trap that is to destroy evidence. That one, instead of using C4, he uses a long firecracker fuse tied to what? The bottom of a table doused in gasoline? Like, I don't get, like, that doesn't make any sense. Why he would do that doesn't make any sense. Why would he do that? What, just so they can conveniently put out the fire with the freaking bomb drone? Like, I don't. As soon as the tripwire was tripped, this whole entire shed should have just gone boom.
Take and go! Suspect down!
That was like the worst flashbang animation I've ever seen. Just, that was terrible. I always love the theatrics of the guys like getting hit with one bullet and them just like like they're freaking riding Splash Mountain. Woo! Like, it's ridiculous. Like, nobody falls down like that. Like, nobody falls down like that unless you hit their off button. Like, you shoot them dead in the head, then they might ragdoll, but like they're gonna fall in whatever direction they were traveling. They're not gonna like the force of the bullet isn't gonna like spin their whole body around. Like, it's, oh my god, it's ridiculous.
Don't do it!
Okay, so I'm pretty sure that shooting the fuel tanks would not blow it up like that. Pretty sure the fuel would just leak out. I think it was MythBusters that did the test on that, where they shot like a car's fuel tank to try and see if they could get it to explode like it does in the movies, and it never does. I don't know for sure because maybe jet fuel or whatever is more potent and might go up. But I'm like 99% sure that it would not explode like that. Pretty sure it would not explode like that.
Now!
Fire!
No, no. No. I'm sorry, but no. Yo, they just shot this motherfucker with a 50 cal. Or that's what it's supposed to be. They're supposed to have just shot him with a 50 cal. Okay? A 50 cal bullet hitting him would just his shoulder would be gone. Like, he'd have a hole. I mean, if you've ever seen the exit wound of, like, even a moderate-sized round, like a 7.62 or 5.56, I mean, the entry wound is, like, pinky, but, like, the exit wound is, like, a good size, bigger than the entry wound. That dude just got shot with a 50 cal. I mean, he's gonna have, at least palm-sized hole out of his chest. And they like where it went, like through his upper lung. Like, he is dead. Or he's definitely going to be dead. But then they cart him off like in an ambulance later on in the episode and he's fine. Like, I'm sorry, he's dead. He's just dead. So for reference, guys, a 50 cal exit wound, right? Look at this dummy on the right side of the screen. The left side screen one is just going to explode, and that's because after the bullet goes through the first one, it's going to tumble and create a lot more damage than it would on the entry. But watch the back of this right side dummy and watch the amount of gel that expands from behind. You'll see that it's a huge wound. I mean, look at how much. Look at how much. Like, you don't even have to see it from the front to see that it went through, shattered the collarbone, and went out the back and completely destroyed probably a plate-sized hole on the backside, because you could see all the way from even where the neck is. So that dude who just got shot in that episode, reverse it. The bullet went in through his back and came out his chest. I mean, he's gonna have a hole like this big coming out of his chest. That motherfucker is dead. Okay?
Yeah, try that. Wait. About. I gave you this bump stock. Half price. 400, 800 rounds per minute. You'll never miss a target.
You'll never miss the target? Bump fire is extremely inaccurate. And full auto fire, which is what it's supposed to be simulating, is also inaccurate. It's not easy to hit the target unless you have decent control. And the thing is, he's not explaining how to bump fire. I'm going to assume he's just putting it on and saying, hey, here you go. If you don't know the technique and you're not shown how you're supposed to use it, it's actually going to hinder you more than it's going to help, because you're not gonna be able to fight. Like the recoil, it's not gonna work.
Range is hot.
That didn't seem like bump fire. So this guy gives him the bump stock and just slaps it on, and he tells him, 800 rounds a minute, whatever. Bump fire is supposed to simulate full auto fire, essentially. It's supposed to increase your rate of fire. Problem is, there's a technique that you have to do to use the bump stock effectively. It's the same technique that you can use without the bump stock. You have to keep your finger static, and you're supposed to use the recoil and a forward pushing motion with your other hand in order to, do it. If you don't know how to bump fire and you haven't been told how to bump fire, it's going to sound like that. That sounded just like semi-auto fire. Like, I could pull a trigger that fast. It didn't sound like bump fire. Bump fire is going to be a lot higher rate than that. Okay? So, the fact that they're throwing in the bump stock thing, in addition to him obviously not knowing how to use it, is just, man. It's funny to me because that it's not. They're pushing an agenda here, and it's obviously not. They don't know anything about it.
Bootleg gun shop?
Ghost guns. No serial numbers, untraceable. Perfect for anybody with a record and on probation.
Exactly.
The whole ghost gun thing. Okay. Those guns don't look like ghost guns. Ghost guns are supposed to be firearms that are manufactured without the serial number, not ones that are filed off. Those on that table look like they're mostly guns that have filed off serial numbers. The whole ghost gun thing is mostly 3D printed guns and or like 80% lowers that don't need to be manufactured with a serial number because you make it yourself. So could some of those have been? Yes, but in general, I have a feeling that most of those are just serial numbers filed off, which is illegal, but the whole ghost gun thing is not illegal. It's not illegal to manufacture your own guns. What the fuck was that? So, the way that the bump stock works is the entire forward portion of the gun reciprocates, and you keep your finger the same. He literally went like this and fired. He did, first of all, it didn't even look like he pulled the trigger, but even if he did, the gun didn't move. And quite honestly, I don't think that a bump stock actually will work unless you have forward pressure. I don't think a bump stock will work unless you have forward pressure in addition to the reciprocation. So, like, the whole point is when the bullet goes off, it reciprocates backwards, the entire thing. Your finger stays the same, and then you pull the gun back forward, repressing the trigger, and then it keeps doing that. The way he was holding it, that's not even possible. Oh my gosh. Just a side note here. I know that some law enforcement agencies do use, submachine guns, but in this instance, I don't think both of them would have one. I think one of them would, at the very least, have an AR for precision shooting. So I'm not sure about that, but if you're in law enforcement, please, in the comments down below, tell me. I'm pretty sure they would have ARs and not, I think those are MP5s. Is he out of ammo? Like, did he use the last of his ammo to fire into the air or something before this? Because, like, there is no plausible scenario in which he runs at her and they get in a hand-to-hand combat situation when he was shooting. He would have shot her through that door, down the hall. Like, what? Just, it's so unrealistic. Like, I get that they're trying to be Hollywood and drama and stuff, but it is just so unrealistic. This takes me completely out of the immersion. The other things that I've talked about, I can maybe kind of overlook, but this one is it's so not plausible. I can't. So, I'm sorry, but again, I have to point this out. It didn't look like at any point, it looked like, it did not look like at any point that she drew that handgun. So, my question is, how did it fall out? Because you're supposed to, as law enforcement, and I know this because I do security, and we are required to have the same type of holsters that law enforcement does. You have to have I think it's a tier 3 retention holster with 2 levels of retention. So you have to have the thumb release and a hood. So the hood goes over, and you have to release the hood in order to even get to the thumb release to release the gun. So how in the hell did that just fall out? And now I'm willing to bet there's going to be a struggle over the handgun. Like, just no. Like, that's not going to happen. The gun's not just going to fly out. Like, maybe if he was trying to get it out of the holster and pull it out, maybe, just maybe, that might work. But just the way no. That pillar, I'm not saying that it wouldn't protect her or that it would, because it could be a metal pillar that's covered in plaster and drywall. But the angle, I mean, her legs are sticking out. Come on.
30, David.
What's with these blue things? Like, they show up in, like, every other episode. No. Just no. They're not going to hand fight. It's not happening. He has his gun on the rifle. He's bringing it up to shoot. And he's in the back of the bus, and there was nobody in the back of the bus based on what you could see. That one dude dipped out immediately. There was no one there. They're shooting this guy. They're not going hand to hand. Not when he's got his hand on the rifle. They're shooting him. He's going to be dead. This whole hand to hand thing, no. Alrighty, guys, if you like that video and you want to see part 3, make sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that way when I do post part 3, you will get a notification. And if you have not seen part 1 and you liked this video, go ahead and go find part 1 or go back to the beginning of this video, and somewhere over here there should be a card that you can click to go watch part 1. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you all. Let me know if you enjoyed this series, and I will see you guys next time.